Welcome to the Five and Dime on Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian, your Make Complexity casual gamer.
I'm Stacey. I'm your non-gamer gamer.
And we are here today with our final 2024 list for the two of us.
Oh.
I will have one next Tuesday, a top 10. But this is our top 10, 5 and 10, 5 and dime games we played in 2024 from 2024.
That are brand
That are
spanking
brands
new.
making new in 2024. This was very difficult. We had a lot. Well, we started a we started the YouTube channel, so we played a lot of really good games for 2024, and there was a lot of really strong games that we really enjoyed playing this year that came out this year. So I had a tough time doing mine. I actually re-ranked kind of my 6 through 15 to see where they would fall because I 1 through 5 I was okay with, and then 6 through 15 always seems a little, some seem a little weird. So I kind of redid that and kind of saw where things fell and kind of averaged it out. Um,
I did not.
I know you did not.
I
But
just picked which one I like to play.
I know. I like to play them all. That's the thing. There's some really great games. So let's start with some honorable mentions. My honorable mentions. First, these aren't necessarily my 11 through 15. These are just 5 games that I really enjoyed that didn't quite make my list. First one is my favorite Android from the year, and that was Draft Android Records. I've played it mostly on BGA, so that's where it kind of fell off my top 10 overall because I haven't played it a ton solo on the tabletop. I'm still trying to figure out how to kind of dial that whole mix in. And then one that was more recent to us, a party game, Link City. Great game.
Good choice.
Great game. Really fun game where you're trying to build a city and placing things in different spots, and someone places the cones down, and then the other person has to place things where they think they should go, and then you have to match them up. Another one is a tile laying game from Devere Games called Cities. Really good tile laying game. Really enjoyed it. As you can tell with these ones kind of falling off, that we played some really good games this year. And then my next one was a recent one to us. Well, I guess not too. No, actually, no. It's not recent. It was one of my favorite companies, and that is Stonemeyer's, their most recent one, and it's Stonemeyer Games, and that was Stamp Swap. I really like the I Cut You Choose. I thought the solo mode in it was really well done. I only played that on tabletop solo. And then the final one that just missed my list, and I think it's because I've played it mostly on BGA as well, and I haven't played it enough on the table to give it a good rating as far as the table, and I always have a hard time rating BGA games as well, and that is Harmonies. So that was my honorable mentions.
Good, good list.
Thanks.
And I've just got a couple of honorable mentions. And the first one, I can't believe it didn't fall in my top 5, but it's my choice and I'm gonna live with it. And that is Cafe Barris. Um, that's one of my favorite games to play. I don't know why it didn't fall in my top 5, but I've got some pretty good games in my top 5, so that probably explains that. And then my next honorable mention is Let's Go to Japan. That was not in my top 5 either, so that one kind of surprised me. A lot of people are really saying really good things about Let's Go to Japan. I enjoyed it as a non-gamer gamer, and a lot of people who are much harder gamers than me have enjoyed it as well.
It's been on a lot of the end of the year lists.
Yes,
yeah.
it has. And I think I'll do one more.
Yeah.
Gnome Hollow, which is when I first played it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is my favorite game ever. But apparently it's not. So it barely missed out on my top 5. So
Hey,
those are my
those
three
are
honorable
some
mentions
good games.
that I think everybody should check out.
Those are some good games. All right, moving on to number 10. And I will mention I played 24 games that came out in 2024. So I'm going to quickly go through my 10 through 6 so we can get into our top fives. My number 10 comes to us from, I wrote it down somewhere. Um, Dirty Rascal Games. It
Mm.
is a very recent one to us. It is a worker placement game where you're going to 6 different spots. You are trying to forage and you're trying to make recipes and then stash your fruits and vegetables that you're finding in order to make these recipes. And that is survival of the fattest. That was just when we got that to the table, it was just an instant hit. And yeah, that's a great game.
It's an
I
awesome
I
game.
love that game. I think it's flying under the radar a lot. And yeah, so my number 10, Survival of the Fattest. My number 9 is a game from Rebel Studios, and that is all about cats going off into space. It is a great push your luck game, and that is Malem Space Agency. You're taking cats, you're putting them onto a rocket ship, and you're trying to fly them off into space and hopefully land on the furthest planets and moons and hopefully into the galaxy. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about that one a little bit later, so I will not say anything more about it. My number 8 comes to us from one of our favorite companies, and that is Kids Table Board Gaming, and that is Cafe Barris. Cafe Barris is it's a game that Stacey mentioned on her honorable mentions. It's a great multi-use card game where you are using the tops of the cards to put different cafe things like coffee and tea and pastries and cold drinks and sandwiches and soups into your cafe, and also decor, so different types of decor, while at the same time using the bottoms as customers to earn coins to put the other things into your cafe. And then ultimately what you want to do is you want to be um, putting you want a perfect customer because then they become a regular. So you want all of the items you need or they would like, and you need the right decor. And then the decor also has some scoring mechanisms with them. Really great game. That is Cafe Barris. My number 7 comes to us from All Play, and this is all about cute little animals collecting their glass from the river, and that is River Valley Glassworks. I really like this game. It's a nice lighter game. Has some really nice little expansion modules, which adds a little asymmetry to the scoring. Basically, what you're doing is you're placing glass into a river based on their shape. You're collecting glass and placing it into your board based on the color. You're trying to get there's 7 columns, but in a two-player game, there's 8 colors. So you want to make sure you don't collect that eighth color, otherwise you might lose some points. You're trying to get rows, which score more points. You're also trying to get really high columns, hopefully columns near the end of the board, because near the end they score more. Um, Depending on the color, there is more of some of them and less than some of them. That is River Valley Glassworks. And my number 6 is the newest game to me. It is one of 3 that I was hoping to get to the table before we did this list, and this is the only one I did get to the table. And that is all about making cheese, and that is Fromage. Fromage is a worker placement game where you have 4 different sections that are like cheese wedges on this rotating turntable. Each section plays a little bit differently, scores a little differently. You are trying to make cheeses, and then you are trying to also collect stuff in the middle so that you can upgrade your farm so that you can make more cheeses and make fruit cheeses and jams and different things that go with your
Mm.
cheeses. And I really like the uniqueness of when you place your worker down, you know exactly when that worker is going to be coming back. If you place it and it's facing to the right, you're getting it back in one turn. If you face it straight ahead, it's a stronger, more powerful, higher scoring piece, but you're not going to get it back for 2 turns. And if you face it to the left, it is the strongest move you can do. It is the highest scoring you can do, but you are not going to get that one back until you have gone through 3 more turns. So almost a full rotation of this cheese wheel. Um, and I really like that dynamic of, okay, I really want to do something over on this board. So I need to make sure I have at least one worker here, because if you don't have enough workers, you can either do, if you only have one worker, you can only do something either in the like mini game. There's 4 little mini games. Each one scores a little differently. One of them is area control. One of them is if you have something on each one of the shelves. One of them is how many things you have connected orthogonally. And then the other one is um, oh, what is the fourth one? What is the fourth one? I can't remember what the fourth one is off the top of my head. Um, but each one of those scores a little differently and does a little different things. So you want to kind of, if you only have one worker, you can either play the mini game or you can go up top to get the resources. I can't remember what the fourth thing is off the top of my head. But that is Fromage from The Road to Infamy. And moving on to our number fives. Starting with
I'll start with my
Stacey.
number five. My number five is a game that came out this year, 2024,
Nice, yeah.
and it also has to do with my favorite food. Um, and that is Donut Shop. In Donut Shop, you are a worker in a donut shop, and you are trying to make donuts to put into the donut case, and then you are as customers come in, you have to box those donuts, sort them by different sprinkles or chocolate or vanilla or strawberry, and you have to box them up and get them out to the customer, and that's how you earn your coins. This is a tile laying game, and I have no idea who makes it, but
I don't have that one written down. It
I
didn't make my
forget to
list.
write that
Yeah.
down. But I really enjoy Donut Shop, and that is my number five.
It's a good one. I really like that one. It did not make my list, but it just barely fell off my honorable mention. It is an enjoyable game. This is how hard this was. These are some great games that we played this year. My number five comes to us from Stillmeyer Games, and this was kind of a surprise announcement at the beginning of last year. Just like the third in the series was a surprise announcement just like a week ago, and that is Wormspan, the dragon version of Wingspan, I guess is what you could say. It has a lot of very different mechanics still. I like Wormspan better than Wingspan personally, especially the solo mode. I think the solo mode is so much more dynamic, and I think it's just done better. I love the mechanic of you have to explore the caves in order to open up, in order to actually place a dragon on it. Like you can't just go through it and go, oh look, there's a dragon. No, you have to explore it so that you've like, okay, this part of the cave has not been explored. I have to explore it, then I can place a dragon on it. I also like the Dragon Guild board. I like the system where I like that they took away the random rolling of the dice and you kind of have a little more control over what you're doing. I like that you can gain more moves on some of the cards by getting more coins. So that is Wormspan by Stonemeyer Games. Number 4.
Number four. Um, got all excited. Is Umbrella. Umbrella is a game where you have a 4x4 grid, and you have umbrellas that are in the waiting zone to the left of you, to the right of you, and to the center of you. And you have to move those umbrellas around to get certain patterns on your 4x4 grid. It's actually called Umbrella, but it has a lot of different umbrellas
Yes.
in it. I really like this game. Um, I think you should try it.
It's another fun one. Like I said, this was a tough list. We played a lot of really good 2024 games. That one's from Pandasaurus. I just looked up Donut Shop is 25th Century Games, which is
Oh,
what I thought, but I was not gonna say it. So nice. That's another great game. Like I said, everything that Stacey's gonna probably list, I really enjoyed as well. It's really tough, and I play some stuff solo, so um, that is taken into consideration here too. That some of these are my solo games.
I cheat if I play solo, so I just don't do it.
My number 4 comes to us from another one of my favorite companies for solo play, and that is Thunderworks Games, and that is the latest one in the world of Ulos, and that is a dungeon construction game, tile laying or card laying, called Stone Spine Architects. Stone Spine Architects is a really fun game where you are trying to construct a 4x4 grid of cards to make your dungeon. You're trying to score different ways, um, depending on like how many of your dungeon rooms are connected to the beginning, the entrance, and the exit, and also you are scoring based on a card that says, okay, I need these certain things in spaces in each row. I need these certain types of rooms in each row, and then I just realized I'm saying a lot today. It's been a long week. Uh, and I just really like this. And then you're collecting some things. You're trying to gain coins so you can collect these other things that you can place on your dungeon pieces. And then you've got some other bonus scoring. It's just a really fun game. I really enjoy this one. This is another one that's on BGA as well that I've played multiplayer there. But on the tabletop, which is where I kind of mostly consider things right now, is on uh, is solo only, and that is Stone Spine Architects by Thunderworks Games.
Good choice.
Thank you.
My number three game is a game about cats, and Ian's already mentioned this game. These are cats that are going into space, and it's a press your luck game where you are trying to go from planets and moons. You can jump off at the planets or the moons, or you can try and stay on all the way up the board and get the big points at the end for the most part. And that is Lem, Space Agency. I really like this game. I like the press your luck aspect of it. I like that if you are the each turn you rotate, so you can be the captain or you can be the basically the passenger of the spaceship. You can jump off of the spaceship at any time, and if you were the captain, then the next person takes over the captainship and can continue up the pattern and press your luck even more. So I've really come to like press your luck games. So I think that's why Mlem struck so well with me. Um,
Yeah, the push your luck, press your luck mechanic, whatever you want to call it, um, really kind of came out of nowhere for us this year with what was the
can't
first with
stop.
well even before can't
Oh,
no well maybe can't stop was the first one can't stop and then with and then I and because you like can't stop I thought oh you'll like this one because I had played this on BGA which isn't
mm-hmm.
as good because it's a long scrolling board and then we've really come to like it like now we're kind of looking at that mechanic as okay, this is something we like. Neither of us are really, we're both pretty risk adverse in real life. So being able to do it on a board game when there's no actual like risk to us is kind of fun. So I think that's why it kind of has come up.
Yeah,
So, all right, nice, nice. I figured that one was going to be in your top five. So,
love it.
good one.
And that orange cat is so cute.
My number three, Stacy mentioned on her honorable mentions, and that is a tile laying game where you're trying to make mushroom rings and collect
Mm,
mushrooms and move your gnomes around, and that is Gnome Hollow. This one is from the op, and this one was a big kind of like one of those big games mid-year around Gen Con that had like all the hype. Last year when it was, I heard last year when it was introduced, like all the company, like a lot of companies were trying to sign it. I really like the tile laying aspect. I like the trying to create your mushroom rings, figuring out, okay, when do I want to close this ring so I can get the mushrooms? When do I want to sell those mushrooms? When do I want to go get flowers? When do I want to do all the little different things in there? Do I want to place a signpost? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? I really like this game. I love my tile laying games, and this one has really risen up. And it's a nice, cozy game for the two of us to play.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is Gnome Hollow by the app.
Good choice.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
Number two.
My number two, sorry, I got an itchy nose. My number two has already been talked about, but I'm going to explain it the way that Stacy explains it, which usually makes no sense, but I like doing it anyway. Um, my number two is Survival of the Fattest, where you are a woodland creature with unique abilities. You have unique tricks that you can play. You have your recipes, like Ian was saying, and your food that you can stash and store that you need to make your recipes with. If you don't feed your animal by the end of the game, guess what? You're out. You don't even
Oh
have a
yeah, I forgot
choice
about
if you're
that. I
going to
forgot about
play
that.
or if you're going to continue
Yep.
on or not. So you're forced to feed your animal if you want to even be in the round for scoring at the end of the game. I really like this game. It is cute. It's the artistry on it is just absolutely adorable, and I don't know how you can't
The
like it.
miniatures are awesome.
Oh, they're so cute. Yes, they are.
Um, yeah,
So,
and one thing that we didn't mention was in order to feed them, you have to stash the food
mm-hmm.
because you only, and I didn't mention this either, you only make the recipes and feed your critter in between seasons. Each season is 4 rounds. So you have to be stashing that food so you can do those things. So that, yeah, just everything about that game is just so good. That one kind of, like I said, we had it on our shelf. It was listed on several Dice Tower top tens at the end of the year. We got to get it out and immediate hit. We did a live stream playthrough of it, and it was a lot of fun. I like that one too.
That was a good one.
My number two is one that Stacey mentioned, I believe, on her honorable mentions, and that is all about planning a trip to Japan. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go to Japan. This game is so good. It is so much fun to do this open draft, take a card, pass a card, and figure out which things where you're going to go. You're going between Tokyo and Kyoto, and making sure you're not going back and forth too much between them because otherwise you need more trains. And then the idea of each day has kind of a goal that you're looking for, whether it's food or temples or positive experiences. And then if you get however many of those you get on that day, you get some bonuses. You can get more happiness. You can get angry basically if you get negative experiences. And then the whole idea of you're scoring at the end and you're kind of telling the story of your trip as you go through it. You go, okay, this is what I did. And then you have that highlight of the day. And you only score the bonus on the highlight of the day if you have enough uh, symbols before you get to that. So just everything about this game is amazing. I love this. The solo mode is so easy to run as well. It really is one that jumped way up on our list. This one is going to be a keeper. I'm kind of hoping that there's a series of them. It would be really cool to see other Let's Go to places, which people are kind of thinking that because of the way it was written as Let's Go exclamation point to Japan
Hmm.
that maybe it's going to be a series. This one, and this is by AEG, and this one was created because I think his name is Josh Wood, was planning a trip to Japan with his family, and then COVID hit, and so he made a game, which I wish we
That's
could have done that with
brilliant.
our trip to Scotland that
Scotland.
was canceled due to COVID. So let's go to Scotland. All right.
That's okay.
We're gonna make that one. That one will be out in about 10 years. All right, but that is Let's Go to
But no
Japan.
promises.
My number two. We on to our number ones. Let's see. Let's see if I can guess. What hasn't been. Oh, I think I know. Have I mentioned it already?
I don't know.
That was on your honorable mention. That wasn't. I think I know what it is.
Okay. No surprise
You want me to
then.
say?
Yeah.
Is it River Valley?
No.
Then what is it?
River Valley Glassworks.
Okay. It was kind of looking at what she's already named. I could probably it was pretty easy to tell what she had named that would definitely be there.
So my version of River Valley Glassworks
That's
is
what we're gonna call it, Stacy's version.
is once again your woodland creatures, just as in Survival of the Fattest. Seeing a theme here. But you're a woodland creature and you're finding glass in the river and you're storing the glass in your storage area. And then the river flows gently by and carries more glass, and then you get to rotate, and then you get to pull more. What's that called? Stone taking.
Taking stones out of the lake
Well,
or
out
out
of
of
the
the river.
bag.
Oh, out of the bag. Oh,
It's a
yeah.
drafting. You get to
You
draft
just yeah, you just grab them.
your river stones. or your glass out of the bag, and then you fill it back onto the river.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I like this game. It's a lot of planning. Is you have to plan what colors you're trying to get and try and imagine in a step or two what's going to be moving up in your section. But yeah, I really like Valley Glassworks. There's an otter on the front of the box. Um, really like the artistry on
If
this
you
one
didn't
too.
know by now, otters are her favorite character. Favorite animal.
Character.
Animal. Otters are her favorite animal.
Yes.
Okay, so
River
all right.
Valley Glassworks, number one.
Number one. That's a great one. I'm not surprised that was that high. I know that one really was a hit for you. That was another one.
Love it.
That was one that I actually found on BGA before it even launched on Kickstarter. I'm like, this is a game we need. And plus, there's a solo mode in the box. So, all right, my number one. You probably have no idea. So.
Oh, I know.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Probably has to do with an animal.
Yes, it does.
Making knives.
It is an animal making knives and swords and shields and armor, and that is Forges of Ravenshire, which is going to probably spoil my number one for next Tuesday with my solo because this is a solo only game.
Oh.
This game is. I just love everything about this game. The dice placement mechanic, where depending on where you place your dice, you get a different level of power. So, like some of them, if you have a low dice, it gives you more things. And if you have a high dice, it gives you less. So, when it's a high dice, it gives you more. And a low dice gives you less. But then, not only are you placing a dice, then you are taking a dice from somewhere else and you're getting those resources. So, you have two resource spots. Then you're placing it on your personal board where hopefully you've gotten some assistance, which you're building this tableau. Then you get to place the dice there and you get to run your tableau. Then at the end of 3 rounds of that, you've got 3 dice on your above your tableau. You get to then place them into basically your forge, and you get to change them around into different things possibly, and you get to make your your shields and your swords and your armor and different things, and then you can put different finishes on them, and you're trying to fulfill contracts. I just love everything about this game. This game was one of my most anticipated of the year, and it did not fail to impress. This is an amazing game. I absolutely love it. It is going to be a keeper for a long time, and that is Forges of Ravenshire, and that is from BA Games.
And it's got badgers on the front
And
of
it's
the
got a
box.
badger on the front. Yep.
Where can you go wrong with that?
Which was also my number one cover of the year, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That's why I picked that as your number one game.
There you go.
Because, you know.
Surprises.
Ooh.
Okay. What surprises did you have on your list?
I'm surprised that Cities didn't make it into my top 5, but it's right below my honorable mention. But I'm pretty proud of that game, and I'll probably always love that game because it was the first game I ever bought.
Yes, you did.
And it was in 2024. So,
yes.
big heart goes on that one.
So I'll be honest. Your honorable mentions, I'm shocked that those 3 were honorable mentions, and like none of those made your top 5.
Oh.
Like I'm looking, and I would expect at least one of those to be up there.
Well, which one would you take out of my top 5? That's the question.
I mean, I'm surprised Umbrella made it.
Oh, I like that game.
Yeah, I did not realize how much you did. Like, I'm surprised Umbrella did make it into your top 5. I'm not super surprised Donut Shop is, but when I look at Cafe Bears and Let's Go Jet, I thought maybe those would be above it.
See, the only reason that Cafe Bears didn't make it in my top 5 is because the dual cards confused
the
me.
multi-use. And you know that makes sense. So I would say of the 3, Cafe Bears, Let's Go to Japan, and Gnome Hollow, Let's Go to Japan is probably the biggest surprise.
And you know why that didn't make it? Because every other hand, you keep a card or you pass a card, and I can never remember which one I'm supposed to be doing, even though it tells you.
Okay, yeah,
you're supposed to be doing that.
But on that, Survival of the Fattest making it up to number 2. That's I like that. That's good. Any let's see. So on mine, I'll say that the bottom of my list was pretty tough. It was a struggle.
He was stressing over it.
I was. So like Harmony's not making it on there was a little bit of a surprise, but I haven't played on the table for a while, and I haven't played it in a while. I've played it quite a bit on BGA. I have games going every so often on BGA.
Every so often.
It's not like I have some games where like we finish one and we start another one. So it's
Mm-hmm.
constant. Harmonies I don't.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's not a constant game. We'll play one and then later I'll get one started up with some people or some other people. It's never a I always have a game of harmonies going.
Mm.
Like I do some other games or it's like a lot going at once. Like there's a couple of games
Yeah.
where I just always have them going.
See, look
Um
how far Harmonies was down on my list.
I'm not surprised though.
It's hard for me.
I'm not surprised because it didn't quite uh click for you.
I mean, I'll play it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I just don't dislike it, but
It's that
trying
it's that
to,
trying to plan all the different
yeah,
things and around the cards is not really
it's not
something
my
that
thing. Now, if it was like a push your luck game where you had to stack quickly or something,
yeah.
I'd be all about that.
Anything on mine that
I
surprises
know some
you?
of your
I know,
games.
I
I've
know.
never even I mean, I've heard of them, but ooh, I've heard of these games. So let me tell you what I think they're about.
And that'll be
Just
coming.
kidding.
That'll be coming soon.
Just kidding. Um, yeah, I thought Cafe Barris would be in a better position, but I know that you really like that game. But yeah, I don't know what a lot of those are. So
Makes sense.
yeah, so
Of the ones that you do know,
yeah.
are you what do you anything
I'm
surprised?
surprised Gnome Hollow is number 3. I didn't realize you liked it that much.
I really like that game.
Huh.
Yeah,
That
it's
was another spatial one where I can't picture where the path is going.
yeah, yeah.
I get these little tiny rings. But hey, I get
It's a fun one. It's
rings.
a fun
Yeah,
one.
it's a fun game. I really do like
I
it.
think on that one, I think if we played
Other side.
the other side of the board, which I know you say that all the time, where it tells you
All
it
the time.
tells you the shapes you need to make. I think you might see those shapes and go, oh, this is what. So I need a path that goes like this or
Okay,
whatever.
now I remember.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. I'm not too like I said. There's a couple near the bottom that's surprising. Fromage. I had heard a lot about Fromage, so I was fully expecting that one to make my top 10 of the three that I was hoping to get to the table and that I did. That was the one I kind of expected to. The other two could very well could in time. Um,
Fromage is a cheese wonderland.
I think you might actually enjoy that one.
That sounded hard. I don't know.
I'll
Just a
show it to
very
you. Yeah.
intimidating looking
But
board.
anyway, yeah. So there you have it. There is our first ever games of the year for us. Our five and dime for games that came out in 2024. Um, we are closing in on 1 year of the channel. Coming up here in a couple weeks, we have a couple of special five and dimes coming up the next couple weeks. Next week, we are going to do resolutions for 2025, gaming resolutions. We're just going to come up with a list and film that. And then the following week will be our 1 year anniversary show. It's a couple of days after our anniversary, and we will be doing a five and dime look back at our first year. And that will be kind of our top 5 and 10 favorite moments or favorite things about this first year of this channel. And I think there's going to be some kind of, and it's not necessarily always all going to be like game related or video related. So yeah, I'm excited for those. And next Tuesday, I will have my solo top 10. You'll see some of these games on there. I mean, number one's basically spoiled already, but the other ones, and some of them may shift because
Ooh.
of solo versus multiplayer and what I played and yeah. So you're gonna see some of these games will be on there, but there'll be a lot of different games on there, and some of them may be in different orders, just because I like the solo more or less than the multiplayer version of it. So, all right, that's it for this episode. Basically, this episode. I'm tired this week. It was a long week. We had some really we had some very crazy schedules this week and stuff. So let us know what your top games of 2024 were that came out in 2024. Leave us a list below, and please like
and subscribe.
If you like this video and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button up above. And if you want to see more of our five and dimes, you can follow that link. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And we'll see you next time.
At the table.